Hi everyone, I wanted to make this video because it's been about a year since I've been making schizoid content, and I wanted to reflect on my journey as a schizoid YouTube creator. So my reason for starting this channel was really to put out information about schizoid personality disorder that goes beyond the DSM-5 and focuses more on the psychoanalytical aspects of the condition, because there's a lot to the schizoid inner subjective experience that seldom really gets talked about on YouTube channels, and I think that there is really not a lot of information compared to other conditions, and this is a condition that is very deep and complex. And if you're somebody who lives with this condition, you would know that it's like, it could just make you feel really different from other people and quite isolated. And so I know that there's a lot of people out there that are going through this isolation but haven't really identified as being schizoid as yet. And I think that understanding that this is a condition that affects a lot of people can help us to feel less alone, because for a lot of years I genuinely thought that I was just odd or weird, or I had a strange personality, but I didn't really understand the components that had, I don't know if components are the right words, I don't think I really understood what had contributed to me being the way that I am. Specifically because I can't really relate back to any specific trauma that occurred. So really I wanted to raise awareness for people that are going through this, so that they can know that there's a reasons behind why they're like why they are, and that there are also other people going through this. The other reason why I started the channel is because I wanted to challenge myself, and I wanted to push myself beyond my own personal boundaries and also beyond my own comfort zone. Because really, I think that an important part of personal growth for anyone is to move yourself past your own restrictions. And it is really weird being schizoid, because as you know, schizoids don't tend to reveal their true selves, and going onto a platform like YouTube and like basically broadcasting to the world, you know, that you have this condition, is giving away a lot of personal information, even if you're not actually going into the specifics of your personal experiences. And so it is really like a big step. I had the channel for at least, I think, 2 years before I really showed myself on the channel. And I was doing that thing where I kept saying that, like, you know, I'm going to make videos, I'm going to do it. And it took a long time for me to really build myself up to the point where I could actually cross that line and actually get on camera and start making content. And I thought it through thoroughly, so that I knew that once I crossed the line that I wasn't going to regret it. There's always the option of pulling the plug if I want to pull the plug. However, I feel that over time I am getting more comfortable with the idea of aspects of myself being out there, because originally I kind of had this sort of pact with myself that I was going to just pass through this life as quietly and as anonymously as possible, and then when I shuffle off this mortal coil, I would leave no trace that I'd ever been here. So I've gone back on that, and it's like really weird in some ways, because with the condition, we have like a fragmented self, so we have different parts, and there's still a part of me that feels like I'm betraying myself to some degree, because I've deviated from my original pact, and so there can be a little bit of conflict there with the part of me that's like, why on earth have you done this, and that's not like a genuine regret, but I just think there's always going to be that little part of myself that isn't really on board with this, even though other aspects of myself are on board with this. So sometimes that little part of myself feels like a bit betrayed by my decision to come on here and present myself as a person. I think that what I thought was important was to try to make content that removes the stigma of schizoid personality disorder. And so that's why I focus more on the psychoanalytic side of things, and I've got into schizoid dynamics and schizoid adaptations. And so talking to people like Nancy McWilliams and Eleanor Greenberg, I think has helped to show that it's not necessarily a pathological condition at all, and that really it's just a way that we've developed as a consequence of, partially because of inner sensitivities, and also due to environmental conditions that didn't suit us, or didn't cater for our needs. So it's like, I don't think that is anything to be ashamed of. I think that because I'm someone who doesn't really have a social network, and basically I live my life on the outside basically anonymously, that I don't feel like I've had anything to lose by doing this. And I think that the purpose outweighs any sort of fears that I might behold, because I do think that it is important that more people understand this condition, and especially since it affects so many people, and there is a broad spectrum of different people who are living with this condition, and it affects people to different degrees. So more high functioning people, they can still be going through particular challenges linked to the condition, but just not really know the words to define what they're going through. I think that the transition of face-to-face videos is partially because of this wanting to really show that we are people, and that I feel that I can make more of an impact by presenting myself rather than hiding, because the condition, a lot of it is about hiding, and hiding can get tiresome, and hiding can get isolating. And I've been on a journey of self-improvement, and I've been undertaking like years of research into this condition, and I think I've got a lot to share. Additionally, as I said, I wanted to overcome my own boundaries, and I think that I am accomplishing this. Another aspect of self-development comes from overcoming communication difficulties, because I have had difficulty with stilted speech, and I made a video about the stilted speech. And also there can be challenges in converting my abstract ideas into concrete form so that they can be shared. I tend to have to think about things extensively before I'm able to condense it down into a form that I'm able to put across in a way that makes sense to other people. So I think that the process of making these videos has helped me in becoming better at communication. I can be a bit vague, but I've found ways around that. So that's been something that I think has been positive, my personal progress. I think as well, like, through my own progress and through reflecting on my own journey, even before the channel, I can see ways that other people can also like progress themselves and make improvements, because sometimes people can get a bit stuck in their own way, especially when you're isolated and you don't really have the social input from other people. And for a lot of schizoids, we don't really want to seek out therapy. We have trust issues, and so we don't want to talk to other people. So at some point I'd like to talk a bit more about the different stages of my journey and ways in which I've seen growth within myself and the sort of things that have contributed towards that growth. Some of the challenges of being a YouTube content creator who's also schizoid is things like when making videos, like dealing with things like dissociation, having to find ways around that. Well, you got editing, so that does help. But also, like, I still have defenses in place. I have schizoid defenses, so there does tend to be a barrier on my interpersonal communication, and also like sometimes it's like there's a resistance to talking, and there's a resistance to opening up, and there's a resistance to even putting the camera on in the first place that I have to overcome. And this is something that I think that has got better, but yeah, it's just one of those things that comes with the territory. I think that the libidinal anti-libidinal split is probably part of the reason for that, because I do prefer to really think things in my mind rather than talk out loud. And also there's part of me that does want to improve socially, and there's another part of me that's just like, what's the point, you know? I think it helps when I get the feedback from comment that this is actually helping people, and that people have found some sort of benefit or value from what I've said, because that does add a little bit more to the motivational factor of putting the camera on and not holding myself back from taking positive or affirmative action, which is something that can be an issue sometimes. So this is linked to the inner void or the empty core phenomenon, and when I hit like an empty point, it can be difficult to formulate content, obviously. Again, I've had to find several workarounds, which I'll probably will talk about in future, like ways to push forward when there doesn't really feel to be any energy there, but it's all psychological, so there are ways of working around these things. I think that what's new about making content on YouTube is the commitment to a goal that isn't just about survival or meeting survival needs, and aligning with a goal that has a purpose. And the fact that there are people who relate to what I'm saying helps a lot. I have a lot more that I want to say, and I want to keep, or try to keep, functioning on this channel so that I can unpack the rest of insight and information and knowledge that I've gleaned over the years. So so going forward, I think that I definitely want to conduct further interviews so that I can bring in like other people's insights, and I think the more people that contribute to the discussion, the more that we can all learn from each other, because it is a deep and complex condition, and there is so much to learn, and there's so much to it. So definitely more interviews. There's still a lot of psychoanalytical points that I haven't covered yet, so I definitely want to go more into the psychoanalytical theory. And also, I think that as I said before, that I would like to share like things that have worked for me or things that have helped me in managing the condition, and give an example of really like how I've been at my worst point and then how I've been at my best point. And so just to show that I do understand how severe this condition can be and how much it can impact functioning. There's still a lot more to say. So just reflecting on 1 year of content creator as a schizoid and my thoughts on it so far. And thanks to everybody that's commented. Your comments are interesting and very insightful as well. And so basically that's it.